This video is going to be a look at the Ravens' defense against the Bengals in their Thursday Night Football win. We're going to get right into the film. That's why there's no front pick here. I believe that the Ravens are having trouble in 11 personnel run defense. So our nickel against other teams' 11 personnel, and I think that other teams in NFL have identified it. Coaching staffs have come in with a game plan, and I think Cincinnati did. If you look at the first four possessions, particularly the one that Burrow goes out on, obviously after the hit by Clowney or after the touchdown, following the hit by Clowney the play before, the Bengals had a great plan to run the football against us. Multiple concepts, a sweep to Jamar Chase, a trap play that I've hardly ever seen them run. I've seen them run a couple of versions of trap, but this one was somewhat new and unique. Some zone concepts. Later on in the game, the Ravens defense adjusted, and I'll show you some examples of that and try to illustrate to you, hopefully, that certain guys started to play better in a more fundamental way. So let's get right to the film. We're going to focus on certain plays from pretty much every possession in the game. We'll stop it once it gets to the point where it's 34-13. I do think I have a significant number of plays here to show you, and that's by design. This is a 1st and 10. Or 2nd and 3, the first play. This is going to be Mixon for 11 yards. Pin pull pitch, but there's zone blocking it, really. So there's no real pull on this one. It's similar conceptually to our pin pull pitch, except I think the O-line is zone scheming this, and they're beating us. Clowney ends up trying to get to the outside, which he's an edge defender, so most people think that that's what you should do on every play. I offer to you that maybe there's some plays where we need to spill stuff, because look at the concept. They're blocking the strong safety like everybody does to the boundary, forcing the boundary side corner to come up and make the tackle. Well, he's a useless player here because Clowney and him are essentially in the same gap. Now, Clowney has no awareness of that necessarily. My point is, back on your side, tight end into the boundary, the nickel is going to be on the opposite side of the field, meaning right now Kyle Hamilton is the nickel. It's actually, the ball is in the middle of the field, which actually makes this a little bit more of an even more brilliant call for the Bengals in that they've manipulated us into putting the nickel to the downside here and then basically beating our ass with a run concept up to the top side for 11 yards. It's not fun to watch for me. Maybe it is for you. 1st and 10, same possession. A face mask on Oweh. There's some kind of mix-up here in the coverage. Both guys are dropping out, Oweh and Clowney. Now, there was a period of time this year, obviously, where Oweh was not playing, and Clowney got a lot of snaps. It looks like to me this is a situation where there's a call for either the Sam or the Jack or whatever the Ravens call it. In our defense, it was Sam and Will. But it looks like there's a call for one of them to drop, and unfortunately both of them do, because there's no contained player off of our left side. We're both dropping out against Joe Burrow, almost like we're defending Lamar Jackson in some case, where we want to drop guys out and be ready to spy or pursue the quarterback late. It's an unusual thing for us. Normally when we're doing this, we're dropping one guy, not two, and that's why I'm saying to you that it looks to me like there's some kind of mix-up. We've got 3 guys over here to the boundary, all at the same level of the defense. This one looks, quote, right to me. I'm not saying that Oweh's playing it well, obviously, and second of all, he picks up a face mask to add yards to it. Fast forward to the second possession. The Bengals got a field goal out of that one. 1st and 10, 12 personnel, and it's Mixon for nothing on the backside. So why am I showing you this play? Our 11 personnel defense is where I think we're having the issues. I think that's where most of our issues are. Now, this is a somewhat irregular play for the Bengals. It's a toss concept to Mixon. You've got Hamilton pursuing on the backside. To me, if I've got the nickel defender outside of me, I want this guy running down the line, not potentially opening up, not that it occurs on this play, obviously, but not potentially open up some type of cutback on that play if Hamilton veers off to the quarterback. But perhaps they had switched it. Perhaps the call was for Hamilton to chase the runaway and for 95 to go to the boot by the quarterback, and that's why he ended up outside. One of the few times I thought early in the game where Roquan was able to be free from having someone in his face. Free release guys getting up to him often. 3rd and 10, same possession. Sacked by Jadeveon Clowney. So things going good here. Clowney's up at the top side of the screen. And obviously, this is while Burrow is still in the game. Cool version of Tampa 2 that we're playing. We played a lot of Tampa 2 last year against the Bengals in that Week 5 win. We're doing this from a unique platform in that we're lining up so many guys in this mug look. Hamilton is basically he's going to be the Mike linebacker in the Tampa 2, but he's clearly not lined up there, and that's what makes this so interesting and fun to watch. He's lined up as the nickel, and another part to this is, if it's Tampa 2, who's your 2 guys back here? 2 ball hawks, Geno Stone and Marcus Williams, who looked a whole lot better, I thought, Thursday night, consistently on a snap-by-snap basis than he did the week before against the Browns. You can see the flat Alignment here, hook players, and there's Hamilton. They call it running the pipe between the hashes with any vertical. It's a cover 3 disguised as a cover 2. Clowney gets a sack on a second effort. We'll get you the end zone angle now. Pretty cool stuff. We did it again later on in the game. Hamilton gets a pass defense. You'll see it a little later. This is a long video. I intend to review a number of plays and just try to highlight it and see if there's things you guys noticed that I missed. Didn't get to film until late Friday. Madubuike is being real disruptive here. Didn't get to film until late Friday, so pushing the videos out on Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon is tough to do, but nonetheless, I want to get the content out. Third possession. At this point, the Bengals defense is stopping us. We did get a touchdown on our first possession, but then they stopped us on the second and third. We went touchdown, punt, punt. This is a 2nd and 10 from the -42, 11 personnel pro twins, and Mixon for 14 yards. And I think the two guys that make this tackle is safeties. So it's never good when the two guys listed as the tacklers are your safeties. This is trap, I believe. It's tackle log. My apologies. You can see that Brown, the left tackle, has pulled to go get Queen. We don't have any backside support from Roquan. Why? Because for whatever reason, he had some kind of reaction to this when Brown pulls. You know, that's what's so cool about tackle dart and tackle log stuff, is that it's not the guard pulling. So if you're training your inside linebackers to only read guards all the time, which is not what the Ravens do, they're just reading the picture. For whatever reason, he doesn't go over the midline to match those numbers. So what I mean is, the midline is where the ball was. Brown and Roquan was lined up approximately here. If Brown crosses the midline to get to the other side, then we need someone to match that. And in this case, we don't. The backside inside linebacker, there's no fit there. Queen's by himself. It's a two-way go for Mixon, 14 yards. I guess they gave Marcus Williams a partial credit on the tackle for slapping him with his left hand. Same play, L22 one more time so you can see what I'm talking about with Roquan. He's just fitting it, I would say wrong, because he's not crossing the midline, but you know they have so many different calls in the NFL, you never know exactly what the call was for him or what gap he's got. But gaps move after the snap, and that's my point. All right, first and 10 from the 44. This is going to be complete to Chase, but this is a sweep. They've manipulated us again, ball in the middle of the field, basically, but we're defending it like the boundary is to the top side. Now, this time on this run concept, it's a run play, really. This time on this run concept, they go block the corner. Hamilton is the nickel here. We're in a two safety alignment because we want to be against Burrow. We don't want to show our hand to him too quickly. And up to the top side, I think it's Van Noy against the tight end. He's trying to reset the line of scrimmage, get the tight end back into the backfield, but there's no force player outside of him. He's the only guy out there, and in this case, he isn't able to expand enough. You've got all this help to the inside. Queen, Smith, Madubuike running over someone, and we can't get there at all. 10-yard gain for Chase. Pretty disappointing, if you ask me. It's a good play call by them. And that kind of goes to my point. I feel like the Browns and the Bengals the last 2 weeks have really had great game plans against our defense, and it's shown, although the Bengals only end up with 13 points. It's a sack by Tavius Robinson. We're blitzing Hamilton off the edge. So Tavius Robinson is going to stunt inside here. Hamilton off the edge. I just love having Kyle Hamilton as the nickel with Geno Stone and Marcus Williams. We're just so blessed to think that the DB talent that we have means that a guy like Worley is not getting on the field at all now, and he's played so well for us this year. Other guys came in this week and played well. Darby in replacement for Marlon Humphrey as well. All right, so that one was a third possession. That sack by Robinson basically forced a long field goal attempt by Evan McPherson, incomplete. Or excuse me, no good. Wide left, I believe. Bengals defense stopped us again on our next possession. Fourth possession here. Burrow is 7 of 8 on this drive. 12 plays, 82 yards. I really think they have us, I won't say figured out. They have us schemed up in a lot of ways in this game. This is just a combo here on the downside. Jones up to Queen. Roquan, I think, is a little wide and unable to go fit this thing downhill soon enough. I mean, he gets credit for being in on the tackle, but I want to see him in on the tackle like at the 2-yard mark, 2 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. Now it's trips, so we've got Chase in as number 3. So there's always the possibility of the running back crossing face and then just a simple slant by Chase or whoever is the interior receiver. So there's a lot of conflict being placed on Roquan here, and that's the reason why he's widened up. It doesn't mean he necessarily did anything wrong. It's 3-on-3 up there. Now Chase is running a screen, so you can imagine if he comes downhill and Burrow is reading him, let's just say, and they flip the screen out there to Chase late, it's 3-on-3 up there. It's a bad proposition for us with Jamar Chase because the guy can make plays. So you can see the conflict in the scheme that I think the Bengals used to widen us up a little bit and then run the ball inside. Good design. 3rd and 4, this is going to be complete to the tight end, to the downside boundary. I think it ends up being against Queen. Again, I think you've got really nice design by the Bengals. They're using Jamar Chase's gravity to isolate Patrick Queen. Watch the route that Chase runs from the outside and what it does to Geno Stone. Geno Stone jumps it. Cool. Good. We want to take away that option. Burrow sees it, still got the ball in his hands. Stevens is, I think he's got some kind of quarters coverage here, if you ask me, or split field stuff. Stevens is outside leverage on number 1, and I think this is one of the situations where, people can talk about targets and how well they're playing. Brandon Stevens is playing really well, especially on Thursday night. I'd like to see him available to help Queen some more when we're getting a slant by number 1, a tight split alignment as well by Jamar Chase. But anyway, they get the conversion, keep the drive going. 2nd and 7. Near midfield. Here you get the RPO that I was kind of talking about, or RPO look. Sometimes it's called, sometimes it's a read. We used to call it, when we first started seeing it, it's called a backwards RPO because Burrow is got the back on his right, our left, crossing his face, and you can see the mesh. They both got their hands on the football. So he's drawing Queen. You're also getting a pulling guard to get Queen to cross the midline like I talked about. And then this tight end from the other side is going to release inside. Tavius Robinson gets a little piece of him. It's one of the reasons why you want to get hands on tight ends. Not every single play. In the NFL, you want edge defenders getting after the quarterback. I understand it. This is 1st and 10. The Bengals are running the football tonight, Thursday night. They haven't been previously, but here's your look at the conflict they're creating when I'm talking about the play where Roquan's widened up and the run play downhill by Mixon for 11. The RPO, or the tackle log where he doesn't cross the midline. Again, and then again this play, the RPO, it's all related. It's putting the inside linebackers in conflict, and the idea is kind of like option football. It doesn't matter what you do, you're going to be wrong. That's the way the offense would look at it. After that first down, this one I think is Boyd. I'm sorry, this is Mixon, another run play. My apologies. For 6 yards downhill. This is the trap play. So trapping Madubuike here with the kick out, not blocking the guy outside the trap. And that, generally at the NFL level, college level, those guys are going to be able to fold inside and make the tackle, but not after it's at least a 5 or 6 yard gain. In this case, Robinson folds inside, but look at what Queen and Smith are dealing with. There's nothing you can say to, this guy Queen or Smith should do this. They got free release and offensive lineman up an inside linebacker's face. That's bad, no matter what level of football it is. I think we're too wide with our D tackles on this particular play. If this is the one that I remember correct. Same play. I'll run it back one more time so you can see the end zone. We're in like a 4-eye here with Madubuike. And Orlando Brown's also got a little bit wider split perhaps on this play. Maybe a 2-eye or whatever people want to call it to Pierce. Those guys played a lot of snaps. Because they're trapping Madubuike, no one's blocking him. 67 and Brown can release right up to linebacker level. Queen and Smith, what are you going to do? Maybe you want them to take on the guy a little more downhill, fine. But either way, Mixon is running downhill. This one ends up being, I think, a 6 or 7 yard gain. All right, moving on. This is the 3rd and 4 to Boyd, I believe. Up top, you got a screen down here at the bottom and a late screen up at the top. They're basically using Chase as bait, if you ask me. Fantastic job. Chase is in the backfield, just so you know. Fantastic job by Brent Urban. I think Stevens is playing force up here. He's got the tight end outside of him. Queen is taking a bad angle, if you ask me. He's overrunning this. Ends up not getting really involved in the play at all, but Brent Urban does from this side. Roquan appeared to have some knowledge and be communicating that Chase was in the backfield, so I get it. He's going out there with Chase. He doesn't want them to have a 4-on-3. I think Queen's angle is too high, and look at the effort by Urban. This is a 3-yard gain, I believe, to Boyd on a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, something like that, I believe. Second down, my apologies. This is the 3rd and 4. I have notes that I'm referring to, and I looked at the wrong play. This is the 3rd and 4. I guess 2 plays later. Over the middle. Got some kind of screen here, pick screen. Down to the bottom side. I think this is Rock Ya-Sin on Boyd. And it looks to me like you've got a little bit of a pick screen here by the inside guy to allow Boyd to get inside and puts Rock Ya-Sin at a deficit in terms of his leverage. You can see a nice job just getting him there. Credit to the Bengals for some of their design. I mean, they're doing a nice job scheming us up. And I believe Burrow had a much better handle on our coverages this game than he has in either of the 4 games we've played in 2022 or 2023. This one is Mixon for 9, and he is playing downhill, if you ask me. 1st and 10, still 4th possession. So you've got this little sail by 15 where, typically you're going to get something like that. Looks like to me Jamar Chase is running off up at the top side. Stevens is going with him. Credit the Bengals again. They understood and recognized what Stevens was doing oftentimes with Chase, was playing him man. And so they ran a play to isolate that area of the field, or open it up, I should say. Queen is playing man on the back, and if you ask me, gets maybe sucked in this way a little bit too hard, and then gets caught up in the trash. 67 gets enough of a piece of him. And like I said, Joe Mixon was playing downhill. 9-yard gain on 1st and 10. Another pass on the 2 plays later, I should say. Again, Mixon isolated against Queen. Now we're running a stunt, and Clowney gets a big hit on Burrow. I think this is the one that hurts him. So we're talking about from this left side here. Clowney is committed on these stunts when he goes inside here. I mean, he is running on a train track. Actually went BGAT, my apologies. And this is the one, I guess, where Burrow got hurt. We'll give you the all-22 in a moment, and you can see Mixon's just beating Queen out there. They're taking advantage of our boundary side coverage to trips. Conceptually, the same thing that happened to Rock Ya-Sin a couple of plays ago. Chase is releasing and basically being a screen or a pick, forcing Queen into no good choice. If he goes over the top, Mixon's going to bring this route in the middle of the field, and that's going to be open. This is 2-man, if you ask me. And we're just getting beat. Credit to the Bengals for designing it and taking advantage of the space. Mixon had a good game. And then this is a touchdown. Roquan is going to get screened by Boyd. Same concept. Mixon will switch sides with Burrow, get into A-gun. And Boyd doesn't slam into Roquan, because if he does, he's going to get a penalty. He just gets in his way just enough to where it's too long of a run. And again, what are they doing with Jamar Chase? Running him off. They're just running us off. That's the player who, or maybe the safety, who could help out in terms of this leverage, but Rock Ya-Sin's got his back turned because he's playing man, and the Bengals took advantage of it. The Bengals did a great job with their game plan. To me, this stuff here looks very similar to what the Browns did the previous week, scheming us up. I wanted to show some plays from the Browns game to kind of illustrate that, but I feel like this video is going to get a little long. I'm not sure if you guys prefer the long content, particularly on Saturday, where you've got college football to watch. Nonetheless, despite how well I think the Bengals came in with their game plan, especially on that 4th possession as the game was revealed, as the scheme was revealed, I should say, we got a 21-10 lead at the half. Bengals get the ball first. And I don't know about you. I was like, let's get a stop here. Let's get a stop. Not let them build momentum with a backup quarterback. And no, they go right downfield. This is an 8-yard gain into the boundary pretty much. We're very wide. I mean, you can't even see our other edge defender on the right-hand side of the screen. Zoning this off. Roquan gets cut off on the backside. Queen's got an O-lineman in his face. There's really not much that can be done there. We're getting scooped on the backside with Madubuike, which is very rare. He does not normally get scooped, meaning the tackle takes him over, cuts him off to the play side. Usually, he does not get scooped. We've had other linemen in the past who do get scooped. He's not one of them. Partially due to his wide alignment here. He's really in like a 4-eye, and we're in like that 2-eye, whatever people want to call it. Later on, we seem to tighten up some of our D-tackle alignments, possibly because we were expecting the Bengals to throw the ball more. That's what they do. I think they averaged 75 rushing yards per game, and they certainly did a lot more against us. 12 personnel twin wing, 2nd and 6. This is a nice route design. Again, Herbstreit did a good job describing this during the game. Not a huge fan of the way he calls certain games. I thought it was very low energy from an announcer standpoint. But this is a cool route, and he identified it quickly. So you got another play action, could be an RPO. You know, if you're an inside linebacker looking at this right now, it could be RPO, whatever. No routes being run by either tight end out of the 12 personnel group. They're just staying in the block. And then here's the route by Irwin. It looks like it's going to cross at the over the linebacker level, the over route. Brandon Stevens is the corner to the left side. Again, no routes being run over there by the tight end, so he's ready for that over concept. Nope, it's a return. Could be a read. That could very well be a read mid-play by the receiver and the quarterback. You got Chase with Darby on him, outside leverage. And I think Kyle Hamilton, I mean, it's ridiculous how versatile Kyle Hamilton is. Now he's up there at high safety. It looks like to me Darby possibly could have been called for something. He tripped Chase. In this day and age, I'm surprised they didn't call that. But nice play by the Bengals, 14 yards. Not sure what Queen's supposed to do. 2nd and 5, Darby in coverage down here. Excuse me. Yeah, 2nd and 5. Still first possession of the third quarter. Chase is not on the field, and this is a nice job of just running the route for him, we would call it. Run the route for him. Some would say there's a little bit more contact than you want. Hamilton with a nice move on Mixon to influence the throw, if you ask me. Less leverage for the quarterback on the throw because Hamilton beats Mixon with the swim clean and then gets in on the quarterback. I mean, you're talking about the previous 2 plays, guys. He's at 2 high safety. The 2 plays I showed you. He's at 2 high safety over the top of Jamar Chase. And on the next play that I show you at least, he's swimming a running back to get in there for a QB pressure. Ridiculous. 3rd and 10. This is the DPI to Rocket Sin. I think the Bengals know what's coming, that there's heavy pressure coming. Nonetheless, they still can't pick it up because Queen's actually not trying to get to the quarterback. When you get it's a bad job by Rocket Sin here from here on out because he's not playing the ball, obviously. But I think he believes that the ball is there already. And so he's just trying to make sure it's not caught. Clearly, it's going to be called interference every time. But prior to that, he knows there's heavy pressure, a blitz coming. So he's playing the first route. This is downside of the screen. Veterans do this. They understand the pressure. Marcus Peters used to do this. They understand the pressure's coming. And so they're going to play the first route because they think that we're going to get there to the quarterback first. And we actually have because the quarterback takes a huge hit. We're just maybe a split second later than Rocky Sin thinks we're going to be. You can see he was jumping inside because he thought that's where the route was going to go, and now he's beat badly. Irwin to the outside. Ball is underthrown, which is part of the reason why the pass interference looks so bad, but it's a bad play by him. So let's look at what they're doing in terms of the Bengals. Browning's calling out who's blitzing, etc. And what ends up happening is Queen is going on this pick stunt, and the tight end who's in the backfield as a fullback picks him up, but he's not trying to get there. He being Queen. Queen's not trying to get to the quarterback. He's trying to pick someone so Clowney can get to the quarterback, which he does. Queen clears out the path. So this is what makes Mike Macdonald's defense so cool and fun to watch. You've got an extra guy back there in the backfield who does a good job in this case. But that's not the design of it. Our intention isn't actually to get Queen there. Our intention is to use him to free up somebody else. And Queen, I think, pre-snap and mid-play identifies that the tight end's coming to him, so he's not trying to pick the guard. Roquan is outside. Queen demolished the tight end and spun off of him. Clowney gets a big hit. That's why the ball is underthrown. Rocky Sin did a poor job on that play, obviously. Still third quarter, first possession, 1st and 10, and we do a nice job getting a stand here. Mixon on the run play, you'll get the end zone angle so you get a better view of it. Queen and Madubuike on the tackle. A little bit less wide with our alignments. F counter scheme. Roquan gets smacked in the mouth by the tight end. Turns around to look like, who is that? F counter is the guard and the tight end pulling. You can see they're kicking out Tavius Robinson, but Tavius Robinson sets it inside nicely, condenses it so it's tighter space in there. He's not running upfield. I think Van Noy had some situations where he's running upfield. Madubuike is able to fold inside. Hamilton gets involved as well because Patrick Queen crosses the midline when the pulling guard goes. Here's Queen. He's crossed over to the other side of the midline, but Hamilton's coming in to play that backside gap, and Madubuike folds down, limits it to a 2-yard gain. 2nd and 8, very next play. Scramble by Browning gets 3 yards, and then 3rd and 5. This is beautiful stuff from Darby up top. Again, pick rub concept by the Bengals. This is like their patented stuff. There's no piece gotten of Darby, though, by the tight end at all. I mean, he's tasked with picking or screening him. Doesn't actually touch him at all. Ball's already out. It's a Z under play. You can see it's wide open from the standpoint of the field. It's not wide open against Darby. Darby does a great job. The timing on this is fantastic. We're dropping out Pierce and Madubuike, by the way, in coverage. Browning just gets rid of the football quick. Cool stuff. So we hold them to a field goal. They got within 21-13. Things do get better, from at least my opinion. Ravens defense took over, I think. We adjusted to Browning. I think we adjusted our D tackles. We tightened them up a little bit. You can see that Travis Jones and Brent Urban are in here. I don't think Brent Urban's a 3 technique on every down, but he plays the run so damn good. This is late 3rd quarter. It's going to be Oweh's sack against Orlando Brown. Yeah, we're not getting the pass rush with Jones and Urban in there maybe, but I'm interested in why we did this. Maybe it's just a rotational thing. But I do think we were too wide at times with Pierce and Madubuike earlier, and we'll finish this video with Madubuike with a sack. But look at the 2-hand swipe attempt by Oweh. A little bit mistimed because I think his feet are still a little bit too high in the air for that move. I think you want to be down a little bit further, closer to the ground when you're finishing this. But athletic move, 4 sacks in 5 games. I mean, what are we going to say about Odafe Oweh? The dude has come back from injury and playing his butt off. Forced a punt, got a short field after that, went up 27-13. Game, for all intents and purposes, is over there, but late 3rd quarter stuff, brilliant by Patrick Queen. This is another trap play. He identifies, he sees the open window and goes. Now, I do think he is playing games with the offensive lineman. I wonder if he knows that it's trapped. So Madubuike is going to get trapped by the guard. And usually, like we showed earlier, you're going to get offensive linemen in your face. Watch him step over and then go for the open window. If you're trying to rob somebody's house, you go through the open window. You don't break the glass. That's right. That's what we used to teach our kids, is go through the open window. And this was an amazing play, if you ask me, on a 1st and 10, last play of the 3rd quarter, like I said. So game is, in a lot of ways, already over at this point. It's a brilliant move to deke the O-line. Madubuike is stepping out, which is kind of interesting, and then getting trapped, but that frees up Queen. Complementary football, maybe not necessarily the design, but 4th quarter now, the Bengals' options are obviously dwindling. Man, this is amazing. Kyle Hamilton, too high safety early on, nickel defender, playing very well, beats Mixon on a swim move that I showed you, and now here he is playing Tampa 2 Mike linebacker on a 3rd and 8. I think 2nd play of the 4th quarter, getting a pass defense. I'll let this one run a number of times. We have a absolute unique talent here. This is Tampa 2, by the way. This is flat, too high safety, hook, middle of the field. Mike, he's the middle of the field defender. If this guy's to run a vertical, Hamilton is tasked with running with him. And we're doing this the same way we did in the 1st quarter. It's just a different platform to get to. Makes it look like it's going to be a blitz. Roquan and Queen dropping out of there. Brilliant stuff by Mike Macdonald. Tampa 2 was all the rage against the Bengals early in 2022. Maybe Hamilton is there slightly early, but it's still a great challenge. You would tell him it's a great challenge as a coach. Even if you're there a little bit early and you get the pass interference call, it's still a great challenge. Last one, sacked by Madubuike. You guys let me know. I thought the defense definitely looked more sound as the game went on. I was pretty pissed off after that 4th possession, but looking at the game film, man, the Bengals came in with some nice stuff, running the ball more than they originally did. multiple concept than they normally do. Multiple concepts being utilized. Tavius Robinson's a little high there with trying to finish that tackle. Violent finish by our guys, and the Bengals did not like it, and you can understand why they did not. But I thought that in retrospect, watching the film late Friday night and then Saturday morning, the defense cleaned some things up and was I thought making tactical decisions. Not going to let Jamar Chase beat them, because without Higgins, that's one less threat from a deep ball perspective or big play standpoint. So I thought that we made some tactical decisions, and that opened up some other things. You saw the wheel route by the tight end, or out and up, I guess I should say, beats Queen, and that was made possible by Chase running the slant and our safety and corner going with it. Chase on a couple of plays with the clear out routes, opening up space. Credit to the Bengals staff. They had a good game plan for what they came in with. Joe Burrow, it seems like, had a wrist injury already, and then it got aggravated on that hit by Clowney. Our defense played much better after the opening possession of the third quarter, I thought, than I thought. Our defense played better earlier, let me rephrase that, than I thought we did. That was a nice stand to open the third quarter. If the Bengals are able to go down and get a touchdown there and get within 21-17, A, it's a different score, clearly, but B, there's also the momentum thing where we have blown so many leads before. The defense being able to get a stop down there. That third down play by Darby, I thought, was huge. You guys let me know what you think of the video, and the quality of defense that the Ravens played was really good after that opening possession. Well, once they got down to our 13-yard line or our 10-yard line to open the third quarter. Appreciate you guys' time. Let me know what you think of some of my thoughts in the video, and if you'd like to see yet another film study video about Kyle Hamilton sometime this week. Appreciate you guys' time.